Guys, we've been so wrapped up in trying to make other videos, I've completely forgotten. I've had one that I was going to do about a year ago. So, I don't know if any of you have seen our little video on the, was it a Tug Boat 868. Absolutely brilliant little things. Nice proportional steering on it, proportional throttle, twin props and rudders. The only thing that really lets it down is obviously the toy grade controller. Little bit unpredictable, the range isn't great on it, and it feels quite frankly terrible. So what I thought I would do, I'm quite into making things what they shouldn't be, as most of the YouTubers you're looking at are. So what I've done, I've got another one. So let's set this working one aside. I'm going to step off camera a second. I've started another project. I know I've got millions to finish, but here's the next one. Basically the exact same boat, so I've just taken it apart. When you get them out of the box, they're super simple, hardly any bits to put on. So I've stripped it, oh God, I've stripped it all down. So what we're going to do, I've taken out the little all-in-one ESC receiver board, basically just snipped it out so that can go in the bin. We're left with our two motors and our, quite luckily, 3-wire servo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in this ESC, which I took out of the Kyosho Wave Runner jet ski thing. It's another video on there, I'll leave that in the link in the description. So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to put this receiver in there. And we're going to bind it up to my Spektrum NX10. I use this for all my planes, helicopters and the big boats. So it's way better control on it, and it's just generally a nicer thing to have in your hands than that. So what we're going to do, we're going to crack on and get these soldered into the ESC. Going to place them in. Going to have to check the ballast on. It's going to be a bit front heavy, so I've got loads of little bits of lead there I can cut and glue in the back. And then I'm going to test it on my pond without any of the superstructure on. Maybe put that on in case any water gets in. See how it goes. If it all works as well as I hope it will, I'm going to take this top back off and I'm going to get some white primer or grey primer. We're going to paint it all up and try and make it a little bit more hobby grade look to it. Put some little lights in that I've got in stock ready. So it'll be a cool little boat to use on my pond. So stay with us. Let's get on to it. Alright guys, so we're just soldering in the ESC. Like I said before, this one is a brushed one, can do 2 or 3S. Obviously we don't need 3S in this little thing. Even 2S will probably be too much. So I've chopped off the Tamiya style plug and the bullets. So I've just been looking now and worked out by touching them on the batteries that the blue from the right hand motor is actually the positive. So we've got the two positives together and the two negatives. I don't know if you can see on here, probably won't focus on. They are counter rotating props, so they'll turn, one will turn in that way, one will turn in that way, or one will turn out and the other one will turn out. So it doesn't use them to steer, but that's how the props are set up on this one, just to keep it straight. So we're going to go ahead and get that put in, twisted the wires together, we're going to solder them, got the soldering iron warming up there, and then we get some heat shrink on, and then we can get on to binding up the receiver. Alright, so I've soldered on the ESC. So we've got that all on there. I've just cut the plug off like I said earlier, so please don't do this at home guys, it really is a stupid thing to do, but I haven't had a chance to put a plug on yet. So we're going to pop that in there. That's going to turn that on. So I've got the Spektrum compatible receiver here, so we'll plug the ESC into the throttle channel. Find it on the end there. I've got the bind plug in already on the bottom, so we've turn it on with the bind plug in. That's flashing, so that means that is in binding mode. Now on the NX10, it's obviously going to vary on whatever controller you've got. You've got to press and hold the bind button when you turn it on. So we'll press and hold that, turn it on. Say binding. Obviously, as you can see under the word bind there, I've already named the tug. So there we go. That's ready to go. In theory, will it work? Yes, forwards and backwards. So all we need to do now quick is plug the rudder in. So being an arrma receiver, this one needs to go into the ailerons. So we'll plug that in. The yellow on this rudder one is the signal, so that goes at the top. We get that plugged in. So hopefully the rudder will work as well. Let's have a look. Here we go guys, so we've got rudder forwards and backwards. Excellent, both working, both spinning opposite directions. So let's just unplug this dangerous stuffed in wire there a second. So what I need to do next now, we'll get those all secured in, we'll solder a proper battery connector on, and then we're down to test it in the pond. Okay, so that's everything all fixed in place. We just used some sticky back pads. We've got the ESC in and the receiver, the Spektrum compatible receiver. I've soldered on a JST connector because I've just found a little 2S battery with a JST plug on it, which really conveniently fits in the existing battery bay. So once that squished the wires under at the minute, but what that does fit under there, and then the existing cover will go over the top of it. So what we're going to do, we're going to feed the power lead up through that whole edge, see my finger the other side of it, and then the deck can fix back on using its normal screws, and to all pretenses it won't look any different. So we can set about test sailing it, and then we can make it look a bit cooler. Alright, so we are at my pond, my garden pond nonetheless. So I've just put the top on, there's only one screw in it for a second, and the superstructure there just pushes back in, and we've got it paired up to the Spektrum NX10. So I'll just put my controller down a second. The battery, as we showed earlier, got the little 2S pack in there, which should fit, squish the wires down, in the existing battery bay. So we can push that down, there you go. Not perfect, but I haven't missed the front. That'll do. So let's get it in, see how it handles. That beeping, guys, is just the timer on my controller. I've got a 5-minute timer. Way nicer to control with this big controller. Goes really well. Let's not forget it did come with a 3.7 volt lithium ion, and it's now running 7.4 volt 2S, so twice the power. Anyone seen a tug up on the plane before? That is way more usable.